What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Walking Dead video for The Ones Who Live, Episode 5, Become. Just going to do a quick review on this one because not a whole lot actually happened in this episode. It kind of went the way I thought it would. The one big twist, I guess, was the way they presented the Walking Dead cameo that we were promised from Scott Gimple. They did it in a way that kind of explained some background story on Jadis and just the different things that she was doing that we didn't know about after her exit from The Walking Dead. And so, jumping right into it, this episode, as we know, it's all about Rick and Michonne's journey trying to make their way back home and just the different people they come across and just a little bit more of their story and what they end up having to do. But we see in this story, or in this particular episode, that it's almost kind of like a honeymoon type thing. We see them when they're in Wyoming. We see them kind of having this camp night or whatever, this kind of romantic moment in front of the Wyoming sign, and making it way through the mountains and all of this and that, and then they do find their way to that cabin that we did see in the trailer from last week. And they didn't waste any time either. We saw as they settled down the night in that cabin, we saw that stranger, or what kind of made us believe that it could be some random stranger or someone from the past, but it did, as we knew, end up being Jadis because she was there the next morning to wake them up and made them tie themselves up and was just going on about how she's going to kill them because she believes in the Republic of the CRM and whatnot. But it's all about, I think, the CRM and trying to convince herself that she's someone that she's not, because within this, we get the reveal of our Walking Dead cameo, which was someone I did not expect it to be. I did not think we would pick this person out of everyone that we could have seen, especially with the hype that we have built around Morgan and possibly him showing back up, and also with the nods to him that we saw in a couple of the episodes, like the Art of Peace book, Michonne saying her favorite weapon or her weapon of choice is the bow staff, and just making these nods in his direction. And so we actually get our Walking Dead crossover, or our Walking Dead cameo, more or less, is actually Gabriel, but they do it in a way that's not present day. It's flashbacks explaining how Anne, or Jadis, was going back once every year to the area of Alexandria and paying a visit to Gabriel, because this is after she has since fled, and they all knew that she probably left or went on her own free will and joined a different group, because she was never one to stay in one group because she just didn't believe that she belonged. And there was other circumstances kind of surrounding that where she felt like she didn't belong, and just the type of person that she was. And so we get these flashback scenes starting out, I want to say 3 years, and then they just do once a year where they meet up and just catch up, and you kind of see behind all the poor choices that she makes, she does display some sort of remorse on the things that she's had to do, and I guess she's coming to Gabriel other than the fact that she did care for him. They were in sort of a relationship where she is coming to him as a confession. And we can see that this is, I want to say, in the time of the Whisperers, where they are kind of getting down on supplies, and he actually tries to get supplies out of her. Can your group provide for us? And obviously she turns them down, saying it doesn't work like that. They don't even know I'm here. And just her trying to almost live in both worlds, where she wants to keep having these visits to these people that she sincerely cared about within Alexandria, but also still be in the CRM because she's terrified of being out in the world without it, because she knows without it and being out in the world without the resources that are the CRM, she probably wouldn't survive. And being that she's been a part of other groups in the past and they were wiped out, such as her garbage people or whatever you want to call them, that lived in the dump, they were all wiped out by Simon from the Saviors. And so she feels like she can belong in the CRM, but she still in some ways misses it. So really what they accomplished in this episode, in my opinion anyways, is they made you feel a little bit sorry for Jadis and the things that she's been through and the groups that she's been a part of, and leaving the people of Alexandria all the while still wanting to be a part of it, but she just, I think, is so scared that she believes that she couldn't survive without the resources that CRM actually has. And so eventually they do get to a point, and we get that scene where Jadis is pointing a gun at someone, and this is in the flashback, and it ends up being Gabriel. And she says, sorry for making you a loose end. And she is, going through her head whether or not to kill him, and ultimately she decides not to kill him. And so she just never comes back after that. So we get kind of some closure on her story within Alexandria, and then we flash back to present day, where she's hunting Rick and Michonne, because during that first encounter, as she has them tied up and everything, she still manages to fail in killing them, and they injure her, and kind of like I predicted in previous videos where she did get away and they did have to go chase after her, and that's part of that car chase scene. And with this too, we also had those strangers that we saw in the trailer, and as most of us predicted, they ended up being not good people. Well, the two guys, there was two guys and a girl, and the two guys were the type that would take advantage of a situation to help their survival rates or help their survival chances to just keep going, and they were taking advantage of anyone they would come across, and then they made the mistake of doing that with Rick and Michonne, and ultimately got their asses handed to them. So they leave them and say, don't be assholes to other people, but then Jadis comes across them later, and this is where they encounter them again within that little makeshift camp in that building, and they end up, of course, getting themselves killed. Then Jadis, Rick, and Michonne are just having this standoff where Jadis is injured, she's bleeding out, and you can tell in the pictures that she almost gives herself over to walkers without really providing any information of the dossier of information that she has against Alexandria, Rick, and everybody else. And as we suspected, the episode builds up to the point where Jadis actually gets herself bit, and she reveals everything to Rick. She tells him where the dossier is. It's within the Cascades Mountain area, within that base that she was previously at. She tells him where it is, and so after that, she asks Rick to put her down, and so he does. And so we see within the trailer for the next one, Rick and Michonne are going to go back in the CRM together to get this information, destroy it, and go home. But again, here we are, one episode left, and there's no way they can wrap up this story in one episode without shit going wrong, because I think shit is going to go wrong. Because with that too, Rick's going to go back in, he's going to get that echelon briefing, he's going to have to deal with Thorne, and Thorne, being the type that she is, where I think she was brainwashed by the echelon or whatever other information that she received, where she's 100% on board with the CRM, and she's going to probably try to kill one of them, if not both of them, for being traitors to the Republic or what have you. So I'm still a little bit worried for at least one of our characters, but it all kind of played out the way I suspected it will. And the next one, I would say it's probably anybody's guess on how it's going to end up, but they definitely cannot wrap up the story with just one season. So possibly, hopefully, we get the reveal of a second season, because they can't end the story this way, because it's not going to give us the closure that we want and give us the reunions that we want and all of that. So I'm really hoping with this we get another season, because I don't see it how they could do it any other way. But that's just my quick review. Again, this episode, it just kind of helped fill in a gap a little bit. It helped us give us some backstory on what Jadis was going through as far as her wanting to go back and forth, her struggle between wanting to still see the people of Alexandria, the handful of people she really cared about, and then still be in the CRM where she felt safe, she felt in power. So the episode just made me more or less feel kind of sorry for her, but she ultimately got what she deserved, because she held Rick prisoner all these years, she held this information, she held all of this over him, and it could only go down this way because she kind of put herself in this position where she could have just let Rick and Michonne go and no one would have ever been the wiser. But she was always in this place of fear that if someone came back and revealed the location of the CRM and where all these other bases are, that they had these drop zones that they use for pickups and whatnot, that it would come back to bite her in the ass. So she was just using this as an excuse to tie up a loose end that she believed that was Rick and Michonne. But anyways, that's just a quick review I want to do. It was a great episode. I mean, not as good as our first few. It was just kind of a filler episode in a sense, which somehow they still pulled off as a good episode. I still enjoyed it, and I'm ready for the next one, but I'm not ready for this to end, so I'm really hoping that we get a second season. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And I guess that'll do it, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.